So I had a baby in May of last year, and normally I'm a very, very fit and active person. I own my own Irish dancing school and also would do a lot of like circuit training and did a little bit of CrossFit as well. So I'm used to being really active. So after I had Thea, I was really keen to get back exercising again. I suppose I expected after being so fit and healthy that everything would just pop back into shape, and it didn't for me. And one of the biggest things was I found it really, really difficult to lift her out of the car in the car seat. I felt a lot of pressure in my tummy. It was even sore. I found things like getting out of bed really difficult, even just lifting my head up off the pillow. And if I ever was down on the ground, I couldn't believe how difficult it was to get up off the ground as well. And I decided to go to see Grania for a physio appointment, just to get a good idea of what was happening. She was very good. She assessed me, talked me through everything, and I guess in the end we found out that I did have separation of the tummy muscles, and that made a lot of sense. I suppose when your bump is getting bigger, everything gets stretched, and then after I had it just didn't all knit back together the way I might have expected. So that meant for me then I felt a lot weaker. The tummy muscles just really weren't doing their job as they should be, so they were sitting a bit further here rather than coming together again. So there really is so much pressure from social media, you know, to be the yummy mummy, fitting back into all your clothes, being able to do everything, you know, better than you did before, plus you have a baby now. So I just really felt that pressure, and physically I wasn't myself, and that just has such an impact on your mental health as well. You know, I was really down after it because I didn't look like I used to look. I didn't feel like I used to feel either, and I knew that rehab was going to take me a bit of time, and you know, it wasn't something that I could change overnight. So yeah, it's been hard sort of getting used to it again, and it's lovely that I'm at this stage now and I'm allowed to do all exercise again, and it's great. I feel wonderful, but I really did struggle, you know, for the first 6 months after I had her, definitely.
I've worked with Roisin maybe over a period over the last 5 months, and I've only really seen her once a month or so. Everybody's case is so individual. It depends on the degree of their diastasis and how body aware they are and how well they're recruiting their abdominal muscles and pelvic floor. With Roisin, she's quite clued in. She's a physio. She's a good understanding. So she progressed well and nicely, and she took on board everything I said, and she did it, which was great, because it's not just the exercise and rehab I do. It's modifying the way you lift the baby, or you put the baby into the car seat, the way you get out of bed, because you can do all the rehab I give you, but if you're still doing all these activities during the day that put excessive pressure on that connective tissue, well, it's going to be hard for it to come and to repair. And again, there's so many factors to consider. There's dietary implications, what we eat. So we need to make sure we're eating the foods that encourage repair, and that we're avoiding the, I suppose, processed and high sugar foods that are quite inflammatory, and even the foods that tend to cause us to bloat more, because the more we bloat, the more pressure there is against that connective tissue. When anyone comes in, I'm looking at them in relation to their posture and how they're holding themselves, because that tells me a lot of information about what's going on. And then in relation to assessing diastasis, I like to have a feel, and I feel the connective tissue, and I feel with my fingers is there separation, and I feel the whole way along the muscle length. It's not just at the belly button. The muscle goes the whole way from our sternum at the top to the pubic bone at the bottom. And I get an idea of what I think the separation is. And then I'm able to, I have the luxury of having an ultrasound in my clinic, which is brilliant, so I can get a real-time image and confirm my findings on ultrasound. So I can analyse how her muscles are recruiting, and I can use it as biofeedback to then teach her how to recruit them properly. And once you have your recruitment strategies back, then that's when rehab really starts to progress, because you're recruiting the muscles in the correct way. You're not over-bracing, you're not changing pressures in your abdomen that aren't helpful. So when I started with Roisin, I had to really put the reins on her, and I had to strip it all back, and I had to tell her that she can't do her circuits or her HIIT training, because really it was just too high level. When I assessed her doing any of those sort of exercises, I could feel the forward pressure in the abdomen at her abdomen, which is counterproductive. So I give her very basic exercises, and I know for someone who's so used to being fit and active, you don't really feel like you're working out, perhaps. But in the same time, when Roisin got into it, she knew that she was finding some of these basic exercises challenging. So I think she knew that that's what she had to do. And she did. She worked and did what I said and followed the advice. And each time she came back and I assessed her, I found the connective tissue to be either a bit shallower or that it was generating more tension, and it was starting to get closer to acting towards normal again.
So I've probably seen Grania maybe 3 or 4 times now, and I'm 8 months postnatal, so I'm at the stage where I'm able to go back and do all the exercise that I done before. So I've been doing HIIT sessions and all the exercises that I would have done, just being more aware of how to activate, you know, your deep core muscles first, and being more aware that if I find something really tricky, just to pull back a little bit. But it's lovely to start to feel like me again and be back exercising.
It's great when you get to the stage, and as she says, she's starting to feel more like herself. So that's what makes my job so worthwhile, and that's what I love to see, and that's what I want everyone to be able to do, and to get the back. And again, what's great about Roisin is she figured this out and realised that she needed to get this rehabilitation, and this is after her first pregnancy. So that's brilliant, because her abdominal muscles have recovered well. She's in a great position. She's strong. I often find that I have ladies coming to me, and just because they didn't know what this was or how to access help, it's maybe after their 3rd baby or 4th baby, and each pregnancy, maybe things have got a little bit worse. It's not to say it can't be helped, but it's just easier the way Roisin's come after her first baby, and she's recovered well. We have more information on our website. If anyone wants to find out any further information about what our Pelvic Health Clinic has to offer, you can check up at www.absolute.physio.